My beloved child, take this brief moment to feel the depth of my care, for I am nearer than the very breath you draw and more devoted to you than any earthly bond could ever be. You may sense shadows lurking, those nagging doubts and anxieties that claim your heart, but do not let them steal your peace, because I am always by your side and will never forsake you. Not even for a single blink of existence. I cradle you within my infinite embrace. I guard your dreams from the turbulence that threatens to unravel them, and I promise that no matter how bleak the landscape appears, there is light and hope shining beyond every bend. Do not fear the unknown, for I have etched your name on my heart with unbreakable love, ensuring that you are forever cherished. I am the one who sees every silent tear you hide, every tremor of worry that nudges your spirit in the hush of midnight, and every longing your soul whispers in the stillness. Rest assured, my devotion knows no limits. My comfort encompasses every trial, and my presence transcends your deepest isolation. Let the certainty of my nearness bring warmth to your spirit, fueling your faith to stand steadfast against any adversity. I hold you close, not as a fleeting gesture, but as an eternal pledge. For you are never alone, for I am always with you, enveloping you in my infinite love. I know that life can weigh heavily, that the future can loom uncertain, and that your heart may sometimes quake under the burdens of expectation. Yet, I ask you to keep your eyes fixed on my promise that my grace sustains you through all seasons, that my mercy renews you each morning, and that my power lifts you whenever your strength falters. Do not let despair convince you otherwise, for I orchestrate even the smallest details for your ultimate good. Embark on this journey with my peace radiating from your heart, confident that tomorrow's blessings will overshadow today's pains. You are a priceless treasure in my sight, fashioned deliberately with unique qualities and potential that only you can bring into this world. You carry an essence so beautiful that it reflects my own heart, a radiant imprint of my creative power that sets you apart from every other soul. Think of yourself as a precious gem, designed to gleam with purpose in the midst of life's complexities, and know that I rejoice each time you choose to dwell in my presence, even when storms rage and shadows threaten to conceal your worth. Never doubt your significance, for I, who breathed galaxies into being, have placed within you a brilliance that cannot be tarnished by the opinions or judgments of others. My affection for you is not mere sentiment. It is a force that stretches across every season and every trial, guiding your steps like a gentle shepherd leading his flock. I take pride in every small act of kindness you extend, every moment you break down a barrier of fear, and every prayer you lift up in faith. For these are the tokens that demonstrate your heart's alignment with my love. I delight in your willingness to trust my guidance, even when circumstances seem bleak or your logic says otherwise. In your most fragile moments, I assure you that your inherent worth is unshakable, anchored in my unwavering devotion to see you flourish in my designed purpose. I implore you to believe that no moment of your life is wasted or insignificant, that each breath you take is an opportunity to shine my goodness into the world. The talents I've placed within you, the personality shaped by your experiences, the compassion you offer to those around you. These are reflections of my heart at work in you. Whenever you question your value, recall that I called you by name before you saw the light of day. And my intentions for you have always been steeped in blessing and destiny. Let your spirit rest in the knowledge that you matter profoundly, that you are never a mistake, and that in my eyes, you are beautiful beyond measure. I understand the tears that slip through your quiet moments, those times when an ache in your heart stings with such intensity that words fail to describe it. I see the nights when you wrestle with loneliness, questioning if anyone truly comprehends the silent battles you fight behind a composed exterior. I know those mornings when you wake with a knot in your stomach, pondering how you will face the tasks ahead when your energy feels so limited. Nothing about your sorrow or your uncertainties eludes my awareness, for I stand intimately acquainted with every nuance of your story. I hear the sigh that escapes you when old wounds resurface, replaying regrets or unresolved tensions that linger beneath your cheerful facade. I witness your hopes rising in fragile optimism, only to be battered by unexpected disappointments that threaten to extinguish your fledgling faith. In those vulnerable instances, my compassion swells, my love intensifies, and my longing to comfort you deepens. For I never intended you to bear such weights in isolation. Bring these pains to me. Let them rest in my hands, for my shoulders are broad enough to carry your heaviest burdens, and my arms remain wide open to cradle every tattered dream. When you walk through the valley of uncertainty, anxiety might overshadow your perspective, stealing the joy from your day and whispering that you cannot endure another challenge. Do not believe that lie, for I remain the stronghold you can lean upon, the fortress that stands against every storm swirling around your weary mind. I am the harbor that welcomes your battered soul, ensuring that no tempest can truly break you. For my protective grace is a bulwark that repels the fiercest gales. I gather your tears like precious jewels, safeguarding them in my memory, and I vow to transform them into testimonies of triumph. I am your shield, ever watchful, always interceding on your behalf when the spiritual winds assault your peace. You do not fight alone, my child. Even when you feel outnumbered and unprepared, I am the hidden force that stands between you and the adversities seeking to encroach upon your hope. Like a canopy overhead, I am your refuge in every storm, deflecting the flaming arrows of doubt and confusion that attempt to erode your fortitude. I call out to you in a tender voice, urging you to rest under the shelter of my wings, where the roars of the outside world are muffled by the lullaby of my everlasting presence. Right at this moment, though your natural eyes might see only dead ends, I am quietly orchestrating solutions to your deepest dilemmas and shining new light on the paths you once dismissed as impossible. I am opening doors you can't yet discern, aligning opportunities that once seemed far-fetched, and rearranging circumstances to reveal my perfect timing. My perspective extends beyond the narrow viewpoint of your present challenges, envisioning a tapestry of purpose that will one day make every hardship a stepping stone toward my greater plan for you. I do not leave you to wander aimlessly. Rather, I lead you with my righteous right hand, ensuring that each step forward plants you more firmly within my will. Recall how I parted seas for those in dire need, provided manna in desolate deserts, and toppled walls that no human army could breach. For my arm is never too short to save, and my ear never too dull to hear. Even if you see no feasible outcome, I remain the God who births life out of barren places, resurrects hope from the ashes of despair, and heals the broken pieces to form a more glorious mosaic of grace. I invite you to rest in the certainty that no challenge surpasses my ability to redeem, and that your story is far from finished. For my pen continues to write new chapters of blessing, even while you wait in uncertainty. I call you to prayer, not as an empty tradition, but as the living bridge between your heart and mine. A channel through which you pour out your raw emotions, your confessions, and your gratitude, all without fear of condemnation. Talk to me in the hush of dawn or the hush of midnight, in moments of crisis or moments of joy, and watch how my presence infuses each situation with renewed clarity. You don't require pompous phrases or lengthy ceremonies, just speak from the core of who you are. For I already know every trembling thought behind your words. My ear inclines to even the faintest whisper of your spirit, cherishing your sincerity more than well-rehearsed speech. Allow prayer to be the posture of your soul, the first recourse when you sense chaos brewing, and the final note of your day when exhaustion claims your strength. These sacred interactions deepen our relationship, building trust that stands steadfast against doubt. In prayer, you open your life to my direct involvement, to miracles that defy logic and to transformations that surpass your limited perspective. Resist the notion that only grand petitions matter. I care about the mundane tasks, the fleeting anxieties, and the smallest delights that you might otherwise overlook. I gently remind you to come as a child, seeking a parent's embrace. For in your humility, my grace shines all the more brilliantly. Remember that you do not need an intermediary to approach me. Even in your weakness, sin, or confusion, I am available to you, offering mercy in place of guilt, reassurance in place of condemnation, and understanding in place of harsh judgment. Faith in me does not require complexity. It merely requires willingness to open your heart, even if it trembles, to the one who shaped your being with a single word. Walk with me daily, speaking as you would with a trusted friend, confiding your joys and your grief, your victories and your regrets. There, in the sacred dialogue of prayer, we forge an unbreakable bond that no earthly storm can sever. I urge you to surrender your burdens, your anxieties about finances, your heartbreak over strained relationships, your uncertainties about the future onto my capable shoulders. For I can handle them better than you can alone. Let your trust in me lead you to rest, the kind of rest that saturates your deepest fears and replaces them with my unwavering peace. In this posture of surrender, watch as my spirit breathes new possibilities into your circumstances, turning even the direst events into catalysts for growth and revelation. My desire is that you live unshackled by dread, unencumbered by guilt, and unassailed by the illusions that breed turmoil. I have prepared a future for you, one abounding in hope, lined with blessings, and illuminated by the glow of my grace, ensuring that each season you traverse will result in a harvest that showcases my constant faithfulness. No trouble or sorrow stands eternal, for I orchestrate endings to nights of weeping, unveiling mornings of laughter and sweet testimony. You will witness my miracles, see me move in ways that baffle human logic, and celebrate the outcomes you dared to pray for, even when your heart wavered under fear. Let your spirit open wide to my promise that no tear remains unaccounted for, no heartbreak endures without solace, and no dream kindled by my spirit perishes in emptiness. Those moments when you question your direction, believing you might be going in circles or missing your calling, are precisely the times I quietly reaffirm my plan. The path you walk may appear fraught with obstacles, but each one refines your character, fueling empathy, forging resilience, and preparing you to empathize with others who walk parallel valleys. Understand that my aim is not to punish you with hardships, but to mold you into a beacon for those struggling in darkness. The trials you face are seeds that blossom into testimonies of my unwavering care. Testimonies that speak louder than any polished sermon or well-crafted argument. Cling to the vision of better tomorrows, not in a naive refusal to acknowledge hardships, but in a steadfast acceptance that I remain the final voice over your destiny, proclaiming that you are an overcomer. Let the storms of life intensify your resolution to stand firm in my promises. For storms do not negate my plans, but test your reliance on them. In time, your perseverance will yield fruit beyond your current comprehension, and those who once scoffed at your faith will be stirred by the calm certainty you exhibit under pressure. This is how my children shine through adversity, reflecting my strength, my compassion, and my unwavering commitment to redeem every hurt. Allow yourself to imagine the day these trials subside, replaced by a fresh horizon where your laughter resonates without restraint. Your heart brims with gratitude, and your spirit celebrates the triumph of faith. That day is not as distant as your weary mind might conclude, for my power operates outside the confines of human timelines. The seeds of transformation I have planted in your life are destined to flourish, bringing forth blessings that overshadow your current tribulations. Trust in the unstoppable momentum of my plan, for no barrier can hinder my will from coming to fruition once your heart aligns with my word. Take courage, beloved, for you do not walk alone. My abiding presence rests upon you like the warm glow of dawn, chasing away the darkness that tries to envelop your perspective. I am not a fleeting helper who vanishes when crises subside. I am the bedrock that remains, the faithful companion of your entire life journey. My peace is not a temporary feeling. It is a fortress that shields your soul from the chaos swirling around you, reminding you that you can stand unshaken because the Rock of Ages upholds you. I vow never to withdraw my favor, never to withhold my help, and never to grow weary of guiding you. Yes, my child, I see the questions in your eyes. Am I worthy of so much devotion, so much grace? What if I fail again? Or if I doubt again? Or if I disappoint? Let me declare with clarity, my love for you is not contingent on your performance, your record of spiritual achievements, or your ability to keep it all together. My love is rooted in my very nature, which is unchangeably good, infinitely compassionate, and steadfastly patient. No error, no repeated stumble, no emotional breakdown can drive me away from the one I have called my own. Place your trust in that unshakable foundation, letting shame melt in the warmth of my acceptance. When you slip, as all do, come quickly to me, not in fear, but in the confidence that I stand ready to lift you out of every pit with the same arms that created the cosmos. When shame tries to weigh you down, recall the cross that stands as the ultimate expression of my love, declaring that you are forgiven, cherished, and forever set apart for my glorious purposes. Rather than cowering behind self-condemnation, step into my merciful arms and watch how I transform your weaknesses into testimonies that reveal my compassion to a world craving authenticity. I do not despise your humanity. I embrace it, having formed you with my own hands, breathing life into dust and animating it with my spirit. Cling to the knowledge that you belong to me, that your identity is grounded not in the shifting sands of societal approval or fleeting successes, but in the eternal truth that you are my beloved. Let that identity fuel your determination to chase after righteousness, to love others with genuine warmth, to serve wholeheartedly without seeking applause, and to remain humble when blessings overflow. As you walk this path, you become a living testament to the grace that lifted you, reflecting my love in every kind word, every selfless act, and every moment you choose patience over anger. I bless you with unceasing hope, my precious one, and I breathe courage into your spirit so that each day you rise with a renewed sense of purpose. In your workplace, your home, your community, wherever your feet tread, know that my presence goes before you, preparing hearts, orchestrating divine appointments, and softening obstacles that might hamper your progress. Even if you do not see immediate fruit, keep sowing seeds of kindness, perseverance, and faith. For I guarantee that in due season, a harvest will sprout, testifying to the unstoppable power of love in action. And so, my child, do not hold back your praise. Do not silence your gratitude. For each song you lift and each word of thanks you utter becomes a clarion call that resonates in heavenly courts. When you worship despite the burdens, you engage a spiritual principle that ushers in my presence with even greater intensity, fortifying your soul and silencing the deceptive murmurs of the enemy. The praising heart is a fountain of life, reminding you that blessings overshadow challenges, that my grace abounds more than sin or sorrow, and that with me, victory is not a distant fantasy, but an unfolding reality. As you face tomorrow, whether it brings expected joys or surprising trials, keep your hand locked in mine, your gaze unwaveringly set on my face. My love for you will never fade. It stands stronger than the mightiest fortress and more endless than the oceans that fill the earth. I bless you and your family, enveloping your home with peace that defies worldly logic, saturating your relationships with tenderness, and ensuring your provisions are met in my abundant measure. Walk forward in my peace, dear one, for you are chosen, you are beloved, and you are secured by an everlasting oath I made long before you drew your first breath. Look forward with confidence, because the very best is yet to come. Yes, your present battles will one day be anecdotes of victory, your tears catalysts for deeper compassion, and your heartaches seeds for an even fuller joy. Anticipate breakthroughs, healing, restoration, and fresh opportunities that my hand will unfold when the moment is ripe. Keep believing, keep praying, keep hoping, for you are never alone, for I am always with you, enveloping you in my infinite love. Look forward with confidence, because the very best is yet to come. Yes, your present battles will one day be anecdotes of victory, your tears catalysts for deeper compassion, and your heartaches seeds for an even fuller joy. Anticipate breakthroughs, healing, restoration, and fresh opportunities that my hand will unfold when the moment is ripe. Keep believing, keep praying, keep hoping, for you are never alone, for I am always with you, enveloping you in my infinite love. I call you now to embrace the fullness of hope that stirs within your heart, urging you to release every thread of fear and step onto the solid ground of my promises, where my word remains an immovable anchor, strong enough to support you through every storm and stable enough to withstand every threat. Do not let the voices of worry drown out the gentle whisper of my guidance, for I speak calm into the chaos, bringing order to the swirl of doubts that cloud your mind. Take comfort in knowing that I am the author of your destiny, orchestrating details you cannot foresee, weaving every strand of your experiences into a tapestry of redemption that will radiate my glory. Yes, the path ahead may curve unexpectedly, but my unfailing commitment to your well-being remains the same. ensuring that each twist only serves to highlight the magnitude of my grace in your life. Lift your eyes, my beloved, for I have prepared a harvest of joy that will surpass your deepest longings. Remember that my love for you does not waver with your moods, nor does it diminish under the weight of your shortcomings. It is steadfast, flowing from my very nature, which is eternal and untainted by the frailty of human constraints. So when doubt creeps in, insisting that you have gone too far or failed too greatly, reject that lie with the truth that I have already accounted for every stumble and still chosen to set my affection upon you. Let your soul rest in the tender realization that nothing can tear you from the safety of my hands. No sin, no regret, no heartbreak is beyond my merciful reach. Allow your heart to breathe in this revelation, for my compassion not only cleanses your past, but also breathes new life into your future. Think of my love as a mighty river that steadily flows through the deserts of your trials, transforming barren land into fertile ground teeming with unexpected blossoms. Even if you cannot yet sense that transformation, trust that my waters of grace are already irrigating the seeds you have sown. Seeds of faith, seeds of resilience, seeds of kindness. In time, you will witness how each small act of surrender to my will has contributed to a landscape flourishing with blessings and insights. Embrace the waiting period, for it is in those silent intervals that you learn to recognize my presence more acutely, discovering the wealth of my goodness in what the world would call the most unlikely places. You will see that behind every delay stands my overarching plan, and behind every trial stands my vow to sustain you. I have promised to be your shield, and so I remain. Standing between you and the arrows of despair the enemy fires at your hope. The battles you face in your mind, where negativity attempts to overshadow light, are battles I have already equipped you to conquer through my word and through the Spirit I placed within you. Do not surrender your joy, my child, for each day you choose to cling to my promises, you chain the voice of fear, rendering it powerless against the love that pulses through your soul. No scheme of darkness can stand against the brilliance of a heart that refuses to forsake my truth. Let this knowledge infuse you with unwavering confidence, for I am the one who crafts your victories. When weariness assails your spirit, I invite you to pause and rest in the sanctuary of my embrace. For I am not a taskmaster demanding constant exertion. I am the shepherd who leads you to still waters, where your soul can be refreshed. Take each moment of quiet as an opportunity to reconnect with my strength, the fountain that never runs dry. Sit with me. Share your burdens. Express your frustrations, and watch as I gently lift the weight off your shoulders. In that hushed exchange, you will discover that I am not only your sovereign Lord, but also your intimate confidant, the one who values each breath you take and who cherishes every glimmer of honesty in your prayers. Do not fear the unknown roads that unfold before you, for I go before you, paving the way with my favor. Even if your steps falter or your voice trembles, my compassion remains a steady reassurance that all shall be well, and that my plans stand firm, unaffected by the unpredictability of human events. Understand that the world's chaos does not uproot my sovereignty. I remain on the throne, Alpha and Omega, weaving my love into every heart that yields to my guidance. This is the heritage of my children, to walk in unwavering security, acknowledging that my arms uphold them when the ground shakes. Come to me with your heart's every longing, the fleeting wishes you fear to voice, and the grand dreams that stir your imagination, for I long to partner with you in their fulfillment. Though the world might deem your ambitions too lofty or your desires too simple, I see the heartbeat behind them, the flicker of desire that yearns for significance, and I take great delight in blessing you as you place them in my care. No request is too small to catch my attention, and no plea is too large for my power to address. Bring them all, child, and watch how my answers surpass your limited perspective in both timing and magnitude, weaving gracious surprises into every outcome. In your darkest nights, when circumstances threaten to snuff out any last shred of optimism, remind yourself that I once spoke light into existence by my word alone. The very forces that swirl around you must bow to my command, for nature itself recognizes my lordship. Have I not parted seas, raised valleys, and leveled mountains for my beloved in your life? I shall do no less, for my devotion to you is the same, unaltered by shifting eras or cultures. Be brave, my precious one, for I instruct the winds to be still, I instruct the storms to relent, and I will instruct every adversity to yield in due course to my unstoppable love. Place your anxieties in my hands, and observe how my peace, which transcends all human understanding, calms the raging waters of your internal fears. In the hush of that peace, you will learn to hear my voice more clearly, distinguishing it from the cacophony of earthly demands that vie for your attention. My voice soothes the restless heart, unraveling the knots that keep you awake at night, and gently guiding your footsteps along the path that leads to deeper intimacy with me. Heed the gentle nudges in your spirit, for often my direction comes like a soft breeze, intangible yet profoundly transformative. Find comfort in the stories of those who have trod the path of faith before you, individuals whose testimonies burn like lanterns in the archives of my word. Think of Abraham, who left everything familiar because I beckoned him toward a land he'd never seen, or of Mary, who embraced my call without fully knowing the implications. Their journeys were marked by unknowns and trials, yet each discovered that my promises stand immovable, turning what once seemed unfeasible into a divine masterpiece. So, too, do I beckon you forward, not promising an easy road, but guaranteeing my presence every step of the way, and my eventual unveiling of blessings that far exceed your imagination. Be aware that the invisible realm is alive with my activity, that angels minister on your behalf, that battles are fought and won in places your eyes cannot see. Your prayers, your worship, and your declarations of faith resonate beyond the boundaries of time and space, unleashing my power to shift realities. Although you may feel small against the Goliaths you face, never forget how I used a simple stone and a young shepherd to demonstrate my supremacy. In your times of trembling, do not fixate on the giant's size, but fixate on my greatness, trusting that I am the same God who overcame every formidable threat from age to age. Recognize, too, that I designed you for community, for sharing joys and burdens with fellow travelers on the road of faith. Therefore, do not isolate yourself in your pain, but seek out those whose hearts also yearn for my truth, forging bonds that encourage and uplift your spirit. Sometimes my guidance comes through the wise counsel of a friend, or the timely hug of a loved one, or the empathetic ear of someone who has faced a similar valley. Embrace these relationships as gifts from my hand, testaments to the fact that I rarely move in isolation, but often weave my love through the tapestry of interconnected lives. Lean on one another's testimonies, Draw strength from one another's prayers, and watch how your unity fosters an atmosphere where my spirit thrives. Cherish each day as an opportunity to learn more about my character, discovering new facets of my kindness, my holiness, my readiness to forgive. Whether you experience success or endure disappointment, these moments collectively shape your spiritual maturity, forming a reservoir of testimonies that you can draw upon when future challenges emerge. The quiet rhythms of daily life, like morning devotions, random acts of kindness, heartfelt confessions, become the building blocks of an unshakable faith. A faith that sees my fingerprint in the ordinary and welcomes my wonder in the extraordinary. Refuse to treat these steps lightly, for they accumulate into a life story that proclaims my faithfulness to a world hungering for authenticity. When regrets threaten to overshadow your sense of purpose, reflect on the length, breadth, and height of my forgiveness. Do not let your past mistakes define your present or dictate your future. In me, you are a new creation, with the old washed away and the new rising with every renewed dawn. Rest in this truth, that I do not store your missteps as ammunition to shame you in later seasons, but rather I wipe them clean with the precious love I displayed on Calvary. Should you recall those faults, do so only to remind yourself of how far my grace has carried you, and how deeply my compassion has molded you into a vessel that can pour empathy upon others who stumble in similar ways. Though you might feel the world's standards weigh heavily, do not yield to the pursuit of perfection that fosters pride or sparks despair. My measure for you is sincerity, a heart that daily strives to know me more intimately, a heart that yearns to reflect my mercy to those who cross your path. Even your failings, when acknowledged and surrendered to me, become pathways to humility, forging a gentler spirit and an awareness of your reliance on my sustaining power. Focus not on crafting a spotless image, but on forging a transparent connection with me, for in your transparency, my divine strength is showcased through your frailty. Witness how my blessings quietly unfold when you adopt a posture of gratitude. Naming each gift, you observe a sunrise that illuminates your morning prayers, a conversation with a dear friend that restores your hope, or the laughter of children that reminds you of simple joys. The more you choose to see these blessings, the more they will appear, because your perspective aligns with my unceasing generosity. Gratitude ushers you into a realm of contentment that stands unshaken, even when your wishes remain unfulfilled or your prayers are delayed in their answers. In the realm of gratitude, you realize that my goodness precedes your circumstances, operating out of my abundant nature, not contingent on fleeting outcomes. Hear me whispering now, my dear one. I have so much in store for you, so many wonders that will astound your heart, so many open doors that beckon you into deeper fellowship with me. Do not let the illusions of failure overshadow the success I define for you. Success in my kingdom is measured not by accolades or applause, but by the depth of your love, the steadfastness of your faith, and the sincerity of your devotion. Each day you choose fidelity to my word, rather than compromise with the world's shifting morals. Each day you choose kindness in a culture sometimes steeped in harshness. You declare my glory in the face of darkness, when doubt raises its voice, brandishing memories of your past disappointments as proof that hope is futile. Stand with resolute boldness, trusting that my record stands flawless. Have I not parted waters for my people, fed them manna in barren wildernesses, shut the mouths of lions for my servants, and redeemed hearts once steeped in the darkest sins, the same God who orchestrated these deliverances is the God now holding you by the hand, waiting for you to let me demonstrate my power in your circumstances. Do not fear that I've forgotten you, for your name is written on my heart, and my compassion stands unwavering, generation after generation. Walk in the knowledge that my Spirit dwells within you, ensuring that my power accompanies every step you take. The smallest kindness you offer, the smallest prayer you breathe, can spark a ripple effect that transforms lives, sometimes far beyond what you'll witness on this side of eternity. Your willingness to let me work through you grants my presence a tangible expression in a weary world. Whether you are comforting a neighbor, volunteering in your community, or caring for your family, every act done in my name resounds with eternal significance. Learn to rest in my presence, not as an occasional respite, but as a constant abiding place, where your soul remains anchored while the storms of daily life churn around you. This abiding is not about shirking responsibilities or ignoring the demands of your schedule. It is about carrying my peace with you in everything you do. From the routine tasks at home to the complexities of your professional environment. As you abide, you fortify your spirit against the undertow of anxiety. Discovering that my presence fosters clarity of mind and renewed vigor, enabling you to handle challenges without sacrificing your inner equilibrium. In abiding, you find your strength replenished rather than depleted by the day's toils, reminding you that my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Revel in the freedom I purchased for you, for the shackles of condemnation, fear, and bondage no longer hold rightful claim over your life. My sacrifice set you at liberty to explore the expanse of my grace, to walk without shame, and to worship without fear of rejection. Each time a voice from your past attempts to chain you again to guilt or regret, recall that I have replaced your ashes with beauty, your mourning with gladness, your faint spirit with garments of praise. Let that transformation be your anthem, your identity, your daily declaration: I have been made new, and I am loved eternally. And yes, my beloved, you will face the reality of a fallen world's brokenness, encountering heartbreak in the form of betrayals or tragedies that seemingly have no explanation. In those moments, cling not to the question of why, but to the unwavering truth of who I am, your comforter in affliction, your restorer of lost hope, your steadfast friend whose vow of companionship stands unmatched. I weep with you in sorrow and rejoice with you in triumph, for my involvement in your life is deeper than mere oversight. Invite me into your tears, express your anger or confusion, and watch how my unconditional love absorbs your grief, ushering you toward a holy perspective that fosters both healing and growth. Rejoice when you see others blessed, for I lavish my kindness not solely upon you, but upon many, each one beloved in my eyes. This community of grace extends beyond the boundaries of nationality, race, or social standing, knitting hearts together in the bond of my spirit. Look for the ways my love unites diverse people, how it replaces prejudice with mercy, hostility with reconciliation, and selfishness with compassion. The tapestry of humanity, when woven under my direction, radiates a breathtaking unity that testifies to the truth that each person matters. Celebrate the blessings I pour out on your neighbor, for it reveals my heart to bless you as well, forging a cycle of generosity that never depletes but continually overflows. Keep your hope alive, for hope is the seedbed where miracles are birthed, where prayers find fertile ground to sprout into testimonies of my faithfulness. Without hope, the soul languishes, surrendering prematurely to the weight of adversity. With hope, your spirit thrives on the possibilities that my love continually presents, stirring your imagination to conceive brighter chapters and better outcomes. Let hope define you so strongly that when others see the tenacity in your eyes, they sense a presence beyond human optimism, a presence rooted in the divine who authored all existence. This intangible sign points them to me, the source of boundless possibility. Know that my grace meets you precisely where you stand. No matter how high the fortress of cynicism or how deep the pit of despair, grace is not a timid breeze, but a mighty wind that breaks down walls of shame and blasts away illusions of hopelessness. My grace claims territory in the bleakest parts of your heart, redeeming them for my glory, shaping testimonies out of what once seemed irredeemable. Let your heart yield to this unstoppable force, letting every piece of you be consumed by my love, leaving no corner hidden in the darkness. In that surrender, you unearth a radiance you never believed could exist within you. I remind you also of the power of faith put into action. Let the words you read and the truths you absorb not remain as concepts, but manifest in how you carry yourself daily. Show kindness to a stranger. Speak life to a friend. Stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves, and intercede in prayer for those in desperate need. Each deed performed through love resonates with an eternal echo, forging a path of light that draws others to see my character mirrored in you. Let your life become a living prayer, an ongoing conversation with me that spills over into the world as acts of compassion and reflections of my heart. When unbelief attempts to take root, counter it with testimonies of my previous faithfulness. Recall the times I rescued you from dire circumstances, answered your prayers in ways that left you speechless, and surrounded you with support when loneliness threatened to devour your joy. Affirm your spirit by recounting these memories like precious stones, shining with the proof of my goodness. By reminding yourself of these holy landmarks, you fortify your present hope, knowing that the God who moved mountains before can certainly do so again. Let your memory become the library of my wonders, a resource you consult whenever doubt attempts to erode your confidence. As your story continues, realize that every page you turn is guided by my authorship, ensuring that no chapter concludes in meaningless tragedy. Even the chapters of sorrow or setback hold potential for a grand comeback, a redefinition that demonstrates my capacity to transform ashes into beauty. The final word rests not with the adversities or the critics in your life, but with me, the ultimate orchestrator who weaves redemption into every corner of existence. Place your pen in my hand, trusting that the narrative I write for you culminates in victory, reconciliation, and the fullness of love poured out. I am not a distant spectator of your pain, but an intimate participant in your sufferings, validating your tears and providing a solace that no human effort can replicate. Let my presence saturate you when grief clings to your spirit, whispering that you are understood, that your sorrow is not overlooked. I mend broken hearts, not simply patching them, but making them stronger than before, capable of greater empathy, deeper compassion, and a more powerful testimony to my grace. My healing does not always erase every scar, but it redefines them as symbols of resilience and reminders of the battles we have conquered together. Lean on me in your darkest hour, and you will discover that darkness flees from the faintest glimmer of my light. when your legs tremble from exhaustion. Find rest in the knowledge that my arms never tire, that my capacity to lift you surpasses your understanding. My spirit breathes new life into your mortal frame, enabling you to persist in righteousness even when the world pulls you toward apathy or cynicism. Abiding in me fosters an inner resource of renewal that defies the limitations of natural strength. As you yield to my guidance, your burdens shift from your shoulders to mine, leaving you with a peace that the world cannot replicate or comprehend. I urge you to cast aside the shame that tries to linger, for it has no legitimate claim upon a soul washed clean by my love. Shame fosters isolation, a tactic of the enemy to derail your intimacy with me and with those placed in your life for mutual encouragement. Resist that isolation by stepping into the light of transparency, confessing your struggles, acknowledging your shortcomings, and opening your heart to the warmth of acceptance from those who reflect my grace. In that vulnerability, you find liberation from the shackles of secrecy, discovering that you are not judged but cherished, not condemned but welcomed, not forsaken but embraced. Let these words echo in your spirit. You are my beloved. You are held by my unstoppable affection, and my devotion to you remains steadfast through every shifting season. No matter how many times you question me, wrestle with doubt, or feel your faith flickering like a candle in the wind, my faithfulness covers you, ensuring that your spark is not extinguished. I do not regret calling you my own, nor do I withhold my blessings until you reach some imagined spiritual pinnacle. I delight in your growth, celebrating each step forward, each lesson learned, and each moment you choose to love in the face of hate or forgive in the wake of betrayal. Open your heart to the wonders that lie ahead, to the expansions of your territory where my plan may send you perhaps to new relationships, new endeavors, or even new locales where your gifts can shine a brighter reflection of my love. Do not cower at the threshold of unfamiliar roads, for I accompany you even there, guiding you as a shepherd steers a cherished lamb along green pastures and across still waters. My rod and my staff do not exist to harm you, but to protect you, to ensure your safety, and to draw you back if you wander astray. Embrace the new chapters, trusting that my presence lines their every sentence. You might sense a stirring to revisit old passions, perhaps dreams once shelved due to discouragement or adversity. Be at peace, for I often resurrect these desires at precisely the moment you are ready to steward them with humility and perseverance. Let the embers of those dormant goals reignite, for in my kingdom, lost opportunities can be restored, potentials can be unlocked, and prior obstacles can become stepping stones. I see beyond your present limitations to the harvest that will come when you cooperate with my timing. If I beckon you to pick up a vision you laid down, do so not with fear, but with the confidence that my support is the driving force behind your success. Give no place to the lie that you are too damaged, too old, too young, too unqualified, too insignificant, or too broken to make a difference in my grand story. I specialize in using the meek, the overlooked, and the flawed to accomplish feats that leave the world in awe. Rather than disqualifying you, your scars make your testimony shine all the more brightly, highlighting my capacity to redeem and restore. When you stand before others, sharing the narrative of my grace in your life, it is not your perfection that draws them, but the authenticity of a heart that has been molded, corrected, and comforted by my hand. You stand in a lineage of believers who overcame obstacles by standing firm on my promises, who changed their generation by trusting my voice above all else. Their stories were woven with adversity, yet they pressed on, fueling a legacy that continues to shape the world for my kingdom. Reflect on their courage, for the same spirit that emboldened them dwells within you, equipping you to speak truth into darkness, healing into brokenness, and love into hostility. The very breath that parted the Red Sea, that filled the prophets with boldness, that resurrected my son from the grave, now animates your faith. Should the pressures of life threaten to steal your joy, remember that joy is a spiritual force, not a fleeting emotion contingent upon external factors. Joy draws strength from my presence, from the realization that I hold all outcomes in my sovereign control. Joy does not ignore pain. It overcomes it by steadfastly proclaiming that my goodness remains unshaken. Let the world see your joy as a testament to my power, causing them to wonder how you remain anchored when storms batter your surroundings. In that curiosity, they discover that my love forms a foundation unbreakable by any quake of life's trials. Let your praises ring out, not merely as an act of tradition, but as a heartfelt response to my unwavering devotion. In the darkest hours, praise breaks chains that fear tries to tighten around your spirit, reminding you and the enemy that my name stands above every adversity. Worship is the intimate language that unites your heart with mine, dissolving the walls of doubt, bridging the gap between mortal limitation and my limitless capacity. So sing, shout, or simply whisper your adoration, allowing my presence to saturate every fiber of your being, renewing your mind, healing your heart, and sparking new flames of passion for the life I have called you to live. Turn your ear to my voice above all others, for I do not speak condemnation, but invitation, not scorn, but redemption, not hopelessness, but victory. If you sense your thoughts spiraling into negativity, invite my word to reshape them, replacing each lie with the living truth that stands the test of time. My word is the lamp you need, shining clarity into the murky corners of confusion, enabling you to proceed with a steady confidence that emerges from faith rather than mere human logic. By consistently meditating on these truths, you flood your mind with spiritual light, leaving less room for doubt and despair to take root. Set your eyes on the cross, that timeless symbol of sacrificial love. Each time guilt tries to chain you to condemnation. In that one act, I demonstrated the lengths to which I would go to rescue your soul, to wash you clean, and to claim you as my own. Let the cross be your constant reminder that redemption is not a theory, but a historical and spiritual reality that eclipses every stain of sin. Look to it, not as a relic of a distant age, but as the living gateway to grace, the unbreakable covenant that seals you in my embrace, ensuring that no condemnation stands final over you. Remember, I did not endure that sacrifice to watch you remain in shame, but to elevate you into the freedom my love bestows. When your heart yearns for more of my peace, more of my direction, more of my supernatural intervention, call upon my name with the confidence that I am always near. Let your requests be laced with expectancy, knowing that my fatherly delight meets your prayers with readiness to respond. If the answer tarries, it is not denial, but preparation, aligning factors and hearts for the fullness of blessing that awaits. Patience in the waiting refines your faith, weaving perseverance into your soul, a perseverance that testifies to the watching world that the God you serve is worth trusting no matter how long the night appears. As the hours pass into days, the days into years, and time weaves a tapestry of experiences, maintain your posture of surrender to my plan. The older years do not signal a cessation of purpose. On the contrary, they usher in a ripened wisdom that can profoundly impact generations trailing behind you. If you are young, do not fret that you lack the credentials or experience. Your fervor for me can spark a revolution of hope in hearts that are losing their zeal. Regardless of your stage in life, I have not cast you aside, but situated you where you can bear fruit that nourishes others, planting seeds of my compassion and truth in parched soil. Look for my Spirit's subtle cues in the everyday, a random conversation that plants an idea, a stirring in your heart to pray for a stranger, an uncanny moment of synchronicity that aligns needs with resources. These are no coincidences, but orchestrations from the master conductor, who ensures that even the seemingly mundane glimmers with sacred potential. As you remain open, these divine appointments unfold like chapters in a living parable, each more marvelous than the last, convincing you that my hand remains actively shaping your narrative. Never let your love for me grow stale under routine or overshadowed by cynicism. Nurture it through ongoing communion reading, my word with fresh eagerness, conversing with me as you would an intimate friend, welcoming my correction as a sign of my devotion to your growth. When doubt or dryness threaten your relationship with me, address them head-on by immersing yourself in worship, fostering fellowship with those who also yearn for my presence, and returning to the fundamental truths of the gospel that ignited your heart in the beginning. Let your love for me expand, deepening not with forced effort, but with genuine gratitude for the inexhaustible love I pour into your life. Accept that trials will refine you, shaping qualities that superficial comfort could never cultivate. Through the furnace of hardship, you discover the essence of your faith, see how resilience blossoms, and find that my grace is real, tangible, and potent in your weakest hours. You emerge from these seasons carrying the fragrance of perseverance, which not only strengthens your own spirit, but inspires others who observe how you walked through fire without being consumed. The key is to cling to me, to proclaim in humility, I cannot do this alone, thus unlocking my boundless power to flow where human efforts prove insufficient. Observe how every act of faith, however small, multiplies in my kingdom. A single step of obedience can unleash a chain reaction that resonates far beyond your personal sphere, influencing people you might never meet. As you sow these seeds of faith through generosity, intercession, or gracious words, I ensure they produce a harvest that surpasses your expectations, testifying that I am indeed a God who honors your trust. Let no fear of insignificance rob you of the joy found in simply doing my will. For greatness in my sight is often hidden in the humility of ordinary tasks carried out with extraordinary love. I remind you to guard your heart, for out of it spring the issues of life. Monitor the influences you allow to shape your thinking, whether they be cultural trends, media voices, or the chatter of doubt within your mind. Consistently filter these through the lens of my truth, discarding what contradicts my word. This is not to retreat from the world, but to engage it from a place of discernment, ensuring your light isn't dimmed by confusion or despair. As you guard your heart, you cultivate a spirit that remains receptive to my gentle whispers, enabling you to respond with love and wisdom when confronted with negativity or cynicism. with each passing day. Remember the covenant I made, sealed not by fleeting human ritual, but by the sacrificial love that extends from the cross. In that sacred act, I pledged myself to your redemption, to your wholeness, to your everlasting communion with me. This covenant stands unbreakable, overshadowing every perceived barrier between us. Whenever you feel unworthy, let the memory of that sacrifice resurrect your sense of worth, for it shows how highly I value you, how deeply I desire you, and how determined I am to see you flourish in my presence. This is no temporary pledge, but an eternal vow that heaven and earth cannot nullify. Listen for my voice in the whispers of your conscience, in the resonance of compassion you feel for others, and in the quiet epiphanies that surface during prayer or reflection. My voice may not always rumble like thunder or blaze like fire. It often arrives as a still, small encouragement, calling you to pivot a bit left, to speak a comforting word, or to give of yourself in a certain moment. Obey these nudges promptly and watch how they open doors of ministry, restore broken relationships, or spark healing in a world that sometimes forgets how to love. My child, your journey is intricately woven with my purpose, and together, we pen a narrative that reveals heaven's heart to all who observe your life. When discouragement flares, recall how my warriors of old sometimes wavered, yet found renewed vigor when they rested in my presence. Elijah found me not in the wind or earthquake, but in a still, small voice after he felt utterly spent. Jonah realized my mercy extended even to his enemies after trying to flee my assignment. Paul discovered my strength perfected in his weaknesses. Their stories serve to remind you that though fatigue or reluctance might creep in, my sustaining power remains unwavering, offering a second wind, a renewed mission, and a grace that lifts you up every time you feel you have no more to give. Let your trials carve compassion into your spirit, forging empathy for those whose burdens weigh them down. As you encounter heartbreak, you understand how precious a timely word of encouragement can be, how vital a simple gesture of kindness becomes. These experiences sharpen your ability to reflect my love in tangible ways, opening your eyes to the struggles that others camouflage behind polite smiles. Your tears become a shared language with the hurting, a vantage point that sees beyond the surface. And in that seeing, you embody the hands and feet of my grace. This is the holy exchange, your suffering turning into someone else's comfort, your brokenness transforming into a beacon of hope for another wandering soul. Seek my kingdom first, my beloved, and trust that all lesser needs will be added in my perfect order. This principle underpins the essence of faith. You focus on the eternal, and I handle the temporal. Align your passions, your ambitions, and your yearnings with my heart, and you will discover doors opening that you never knew existed. Seek not the fleeting approval of humankind, for that changes like shifting sand. But set your eyes on my eternal well done. As you do, you unburden yourself from the tyranny of having to control every outcome, liberating your spirit to delight in the glorious unpredictability of my divine interventions. Your story is not yet finished. Indeed, each day writes another line that shapes the final masterpiece of your journey with me. Some chapters might be painful, some joyous, others instructive, but altogether they form a cohesive narrative that showcases my love. So walk forward, my child, with an unfading sense of wonder, for I hold the pen that scripts your destiny, weaving miracles and second chances into a tapestry of purpose. Each morning, awaken with the awareness that I have already gone ahead, preparing mercies anew, setting divine appointments, orchestrating blessings you have prayed for, and perhaps even some you never knew to request. If you find yourself drifting into a season of apathy or numbness, do not let guilt isolate you further. Instead, bring that dullness to me. Speak openly. Lord, I feel empty. I crave a rekindling of passion, a fresh wave of zeal. Watch how my spirit breathes new fire into your worship, re-energizes your capacity for love, and revives the dreams that once flickered in your soul. Embrace this as a normal cycle in a long-term relationship. Moments of dryness that pave the way for deeper intimacy once you yield anew to my prompting. Resist the voice that suggests you are disqualified. Your willingness to return indicates your readiness to grow. Proclaim my goodness even in the midst of adversity, for praise is an act of defiance against the hopelessness that tries to ensnare your mind. As you speak my praise in the face of contradiction, you proclaim that my truth outranks your temporary circumstances. This is the posture of spiritual warfare, not denying reality, but exalting a higher reality that transcends the fleeting troubles of the moment. You will discover that praising me in such times lifts the heaviness from your heart, restores a sense of perspective, and intensifies your awareness that my hand remains firmly on your life's rudder. Embrace stillness whenever you can. Find quiet pockets of time, be it early dawn or late twilight, where you can dwell undistracted in my presence. Silence the noise of the outer world and the chatter of your own thoughts, letting my spirit refresh you from within. You might not hear an audible voice, but your spirit will sense my presence as a gentle hush that wraps you in peace. In these intervals, your soul recharges, your perspective resets, and the swirling demands of life realign under the authority of my sovereignty. Such moments of unhurried communion become the wellspring from which you draw resilience for each day's tasks. Continue drawing near to me, seeking my face above my hand, yearning for who I am above what I can give. As you fix your gaze upon my nature, my holiness, my compassion, my consistent reliability, you will notice your own desires transforming. No longer do you simply crave solutions to immediate problems, but you grow in hunger for deeper knowledge of me, for the sweetness of my fellowship, for the joy that emerges from abiding in my love without condition. This shift in focus allows you to experience my presence as the reward, overshadowing fleeting blessings with the eternal gift of relationship with the Creator of your soul. I remind you yet again that my love for you will never fade. Just as the sun rises each day without fail, so does my affection for you stand unwavering. Although mortal ties may fray, earthly promises be broken, or people you rely on may disappoint, my vow does not succumb to the fluctuations of time or circumstance. Breathe easy in the knowledge that you do not have to chase my approval. You are already welcomed, cherished, and desired in my heart. This is the cradle in which your spirit finds rest, the assurance that you are held, no matter what storms roll in. I bless you and your family with my abiding presence, forging bonds of unity where misunderstandings once brewed, fostering communication that transcends superficial niceties and delves into genuine caring. May your home be an outpost of my kingdom, a sanctuary that resounds with laughter, prayer, and mutual support. Extend that blessing beyond your walls, letting the fragrance of my grace spill into your neighborhood, your workplace, your community. In doing so, you stand as my ambassadors, broadcasting the light that dispels darkness, living proof that love conquers hate. Forgiveness overcomes grudges, and generosity thwarts selfishness. Walk forward in my peace. Dear one, for this peace anchors you against the turbulence of a world that often forgets the melody of my kindness. My peace does not hinge on favorable circumstances. It is the steady current of my presence that flows regardless of cultural unrest, political shifts, or personal tribulations. By choosing to dwell in my peace, you detach from the anxiety the world tries to cloak you with, stepping instead into the liberating calm that my spirit imparts. There is no force that can withstand the gentleness of a heart at rest in me, for that gentleness testifies of a divine undercurrent stronger than the fiercest storm. Look forward with confidence, my child, because the very best is yet to come. Let these final words echo in your heart whenever you face uncertainties. This promise is not empty optimism, but a reflection of my abiding nature. I shape new mornings out of the deepest nights, bring forth living waters in the desert, and paint rainbows after relentless rainfall. This is my pattern, my signature in the realm of human affairs. From grief I draw consolation, from despair I birth new beginnings, and from dryness I produce abounding fruit. Trust that every fiber of your journey weaves into my ultimate masterpiece, revealing my glory and filling your life with purpose. Yes, your present battles will one day be memories of conquered territory, transformed into testimonies that encourage others who find themselves in similar struggles. Your tears will become the wellspring of empathy that drives you to serve, to comfort, and to bless those in despair. Your heartbreaks will become seeds that sprout compassion, making your love for others richer and more authentic. Anticipate breakthroughs that surpass your imagination, healing that not only mends wounds but fortifies your spirit, and restoration that resurrects areas of your life you deemed irreparably lost. My hand unfurls these gifts in the fullness of time, so do not lose heart in the waiting. Keep believing in the unstoppable force of my promises. Keep praying with the expectancy of a child approaching a loving father. Keep hoping even when the horizon looks gray. For I am the master of new dawns and the architect of fresh starts. Through every shift and pivot in your life, I remain the one constant, the unwavering anchor that reaffirms you are never alone. Yes, my presence envelopes you like a warm cloak in winter, a daily companion in your triumphs and tears. As you stand in that presence, let your soul awaken to the magnitude of my infinite love, a love that formed you, that upholds you, and that beckons you forward with the promise of a glorious tomorrow.